Hello, I'm Brian Fox. Welcome to I Hate Rock Music. And today I want to do a video about the fact that Jeff Beck and Jimi Hendrix did indeed jam. And this is completely legendary. And there's a little bit of documentation out there. And so I actually managed to put together a pretty decent amount of information about it. But boy, what an event that must have been. Jimi Hendrix and Jeff Beck, arguably the two greatest rock guitarists who ever lived, and I certainly would agree with that. And the idea that they jammed together really makes me salivate, and very unfortunate that there are no recordings of it. A couple of the jams took place at Steve Paul's club in New York, the Scene Club. Of course, Jimi Hendrix jammed there all the time, and we've only got a handful of recordings that ever surfaced from those jams. And so that's unfortunate. It's a missed opportunity. But there was basically an entire week where Jeff Beck and Jimi Hendrix ended up playing together, as it turns out. So most of the focus seems to be on the night of June 16th, 1968. And basically, Jeff Beck Group had just debuted at the Fillmore East on June 14th. And of course, Jimi Hendrix went and saw them, and nothing happened at that point. But then they played what was touted as almost a secret concert, but it was the Daytop Music Fest in Staten Island, New York, benefit for a rehab center, and the Jeff Beck Group was going to play, and Rod Stewart got sick. So rather than cancel the whole gig, Jimi Hendrix stepped in and said that, well, I'll play with you guys. And that's exactly what happened. So we have Jimi Hendrix on guitar and bass, Jeff Beck on guitar, Ron Wood on bass and guitar, and then Mick Waller on drums. And so essentially the Jeff Beck Group without Rod Stewart and Jimi Hendrix setting in. And apparently, from everything I can gather, it looks like a lot of uh, switching of instruments went on, because Ron Wood, of course, was the bass player, but at certain times during the night, Ron Wood was playing rhythm guitar, and Jimi Hendrix was playing bass. So unfortunately, there isn't enough documentation to see everything that they played and who played what. But one of the great anecdotes is that Jimi Hendrix, when Ron Wood was playing rhythm guitar, encouraged him to take solos. So apparently he was taking solos. Not surprising, as everyone knows now, Ron Wood's a very accomplished guitarist. And so the idea that he would be up there switching leads with Jeff Beck is also would be something to hear. But we know that Jimi Hendrix actually played guitar on some material as well. And Jeff Beck mentions the fact that they played Purple Haze, and Jeff Beck said that Hendrix and Beck playing Purple Haze together was one of the best jams of his life, which I'm sure it would be. And so that was June 16th, 1968. And then the very next day, June 17th, 1968, Hendrix went into the record plant and recorded Gypsy Eyes with Eddie Kramer to put this show in perspective. But apparently, there was a couple more jams. Jeff Beck Group played the Scene Club on June 19th, so this is 3 days after that other jam. And they were in residence there from June 19th to the 23rd of 1968. And Hendrix was there for all the shows, but also jammed with the Jeff Beck Group again. And then there apparently is another jam where it was actually the day before the June 16th show at the Daytop Music Festival on June 15th. Jeff Beck, Jimi Hendrix, and Eric Clapton as well all jammed at the Scene Club. And so, and this was all, as I say, started rolling on June 14th with the Jeff Beck Group debuting in the United States at the Fillmore East. And so anyway, it turns out it's an entire week. So we have June 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th through the 23rd. and apparently there was multiple jams, which makes it all the more surprising that there weren't any recordings of it, particularly with everybody involved. But the jam itself at the Daytop Music Festival apparently went on for well over 2 hours, one of the longest concerts of that era, according to a couple of witnesses. They didn't finish until 2 a.m. in the morning. But the only two tunes that are mentioned that they did play were Purple Haze and Foxy Lady, although Jeff Beck mentions the fact that they played a number of his tunes as well. And we also have no documentation on the switching of instruments, but Jimmy was known to sit in with a lot of jams playing bass, and of course he was an accomplished bass player as well. So anyway, just like me, everybody out there that hasn't heard about this jam or has heard about it and is hearing me jibber jabber about it again, one of those legendary things that's really unfortunate. There was never a recording, and also unfortunate that between 1968 and 1970 and the death of Hendrix, that they didn't manage to get together and jam and maybe even record some material. But wow, Jeff Beck and Jimi Hendrix together doesn't get much more legendary than that. I'm Brian Fox. Thanks for watching I Hate Rock Music.